Good afternoon, YouTubers and my Patreon supporters on the Awakening Your Spirit Patreon community. Satnam to you all. I am Spiritman Joseph Tittel, aka Spiritman JT. If you're new to my YouTube channel, please subscribe down below. Hit the subscribe button, hit the all. And then even if you think you subscribe, make sure you go back and check because people mysteriously become unsubscribed. You can find links to all my channels and all my stuff down below. I did not enter the Rumble yet, but I am live here in beautiful Sedona, Arizona. Behind me over my right shoulder is Bell Rock. Over my left shoulder is the back end of Courthouse Butte. We're at the park. I have to stand up and do this today because I pulled out my back and it's been no fun. But welcome everybody. We have entered into the cycle of Mercury Retrograde pre-shadow on the 20th of the month. And let me share that with you right now. I'm going to show you. Hold on. We go through these cycles 3 times a year. You hear me talk about it all the time. Those that are new to the channel, I'm going to explain it again because they're new to the channel. So they understand these cycles that we go through and how powerful they are, and what they mean, and how they affect everything. So Mercury retrograde has a long cycle, approximately almost 8 weeks long in all. Starts off with a pre-shadow, goes into a direct retrograde, and then ends off with a post-shadow. We started off on Friday the 15th with the pre-shadow of the Mercury retrograde cycle, as you can see here. It started actually the 14th, 15th, depending on where you live and where you're at. Friday, we're in the pre-shadow all the way up till the 29th of the month when we go direct. We have the full moon coming in on the 28th, again, depending on where you live. And that's when we go into an energy shift. So we actually have an energy shift happening before we even go into the retrograde cycle. The full moon, is it the 27th or 28th? I forget now. I think it's the 27th, actually. So we start off in the energy shift, which usually starts on the full moon when we are in the direct retrograde. So we are in the full moon cycle a little under 48 hours before we go into the direct retrograde here on the 29th. I'm looking at the wrong calendar, sorry. On the 30th, I mean. So yeah, the 28th we go into the full moon. 48 hours later, we go into the energy shift, which lasts all the way to the new moon. The retrograde direct cycle lasts until February 19th. We are in this cycle all the way until 13th. This cycle is in retrograde with Aquarius. Aquarius is all about balance. If you know anything about Aquarius and the symbol of Aquarius, it's real simple. The symbol of Aquarius, it's the goddess standing there with a dark container up high, a light colored container down low. And the goddess is pouring the dark negative energy, masculine energy down into the light feminine energy to bring balance back to the planet, bring balance to things. It's interesting because when in this new Aquarian age that we stepped into quite some time ago, 8 years ago to be exact, just over 8 years ago, December 21st, 2012. And now we're in this cycle with everything in the chaos that's happening on the planet right now. Because it doesn't matter who you support, who you like, whether you're political or not. It's pretty obvious that things were rigged, because otherwise, why is there a wall around Washington, D.C.? Have you all seen that? It's interesting, you know. Some sides are all against the wall, but they're all for the wall when they built the wall around Washington, D.C. It's insane. Nothing like this has ever happened before. Last week, right after the New Year's, there were over 700 planes, military planes in the air that have been reported through radar systems. Military bombers, helicopters. More than 700. That's never happened in the United States ever in history. And now we have all these troops lined up all around Washington, D.C. We have a lot of people don't know this, the Chinese troops aligned over on the border of Canada and the United States. Why are the Chinese troops and why are Canada allowing them to be there? We have our naval ships out on the coasts of the East Coast, all the way down to the southwest, to the southeast, all the way out to the east. I mean, like military naval ships protecting the borders of the United States. Something major is going on. We're in the pre-shadow of the retrograde, folks. This is all about balance. It's all about bringing balance. Something major is going to happen. You don't even need to be psychic to figure that one out. There's balance that needs to come. The dark needs to be poured into the light to bring that balance in. And, you know, even though we're in the pre-shadow of the retrograde and we don't really go into the retrograde itself until the 30th, and again, that's when we go into the energy shift at the same time. And I've been following these energy shifts and retrogrades for 15 years. I've never seen an energy shift come in like literally the full moon right before the direct retrograde, meaning that when we go direct on the 30th, we're in the energy shift the same day. It's going to be intense. And that is a Saturday and Sunday, by the way. So remember that, because it's going to start to get intense on the 27th, actually. The 27th of January. But then we have, I'm at the park, we have this whole thing happening this week on Wednesday, 2 more days, with this inauguration, which they are going to try to do this virtually to make Biden the president. I told you all Pence was evil, did I not? Pence is not a good guy. And it's already said, whether this is what's going to happen or not, that Pence will be there for the inauguration, but Trump is going to bail out and fly out of DC. I still believe a bomb's going to be dropped. Remember what I said about shocking truths last year that haven't yet happened? Shocking things being revealed, the whole world becoming shocked. And what I believe that shock is what is going to be dropped by Donald Trump coming up over the next couple of days. Not only that, during the whole year. You think 2020 was crazy? 2020 was about opening up our vision and opening up our eyes. Now we're in 2021 and people are awakening. They have awakened on a large scale like never before. And now with this awakening, people are going to see the truth, no matter how much they try to block it. Folks, you should be extremely concerned that they can allow the Iranian Ayatollah to be on Twitter talking about death to America and Americans and genocide to America and still be able to tweet on Twitter when your president of the United States, whether you like him or not, has been taken out from every platform. You should be extremely concerned about that. This is communism at its best, folks. Totalitarian communists, like total scum, coming in to take over this country. And if we don't gather together and we don't awaken, it's going to be a problem. But in the prophecies, and if you go back and you look at all the prophecies and all the predictions that I've done over the decades, over the past 15 years anyway, that it's going to get very dark before it gets very light. Last year was just a peek into the darkness. People are seeing their shadow selves, the shadows stepping out. It's another thing you're going to see and you're going to experience. Have you noticed how much clarity you're seeing the shadow selves of other people, the darkness of other people coming out, how they're doing things, not even realizing, revealing exactly who they are, revealing how dark they actually are. Our resistance to look at our own shadow selves and work on ourselves is a resistance to flowing into the light and bringing the light in. We have to look inwardly. We have to pull the dark out that's within all of us, because we all have it somewhere deep inside. The shadow self, the secrets that we hold, but the ones that we hold so secret that we don't even remember them. That's what we need to work on. That's the shadow self. So I wanted to update you to tell you that, yes, I was just having lunch at my favorite restaurant, and the owner came up to me and she's like, "So what do you think?" Very concerned, takes her mask off. I'm like, I think that chaos is going to break out. I think that people are going to awaken. In my predictions, I talked about mass gatherings of millions of people in the streets. Kind of like we saw, I don't know, a decade ago with Egypt, all the different countries, people coming out and like fighting on major scales for our rights, gathering together. But at the same time, you have groups like Antifa that are causing total riots, wrecking and destroying our cities. And then you have the people, the light workers, the enlightened ones, not light workers, enlightened ones that are awakened, that are going to gather together to fight, because the truth is coming out. I told you the truth will be revealed. You cannot lie anymore and get away with it. Ever since we went into the Aquarian age, but especially when we entered into the year 2020, the vision is there. We can see it. So there's going to be a divide, a major divide that's already happened, with those who believe the dark, follow the dark, and don't realize that they're with the dark. And then there's the awakened ones. People are going to believe what they believe, and there ain't nothing you're going to do to tell them differently. that's where the chaos breaks out, because these people are really stubborn in believing and following what they're programmed by the darkness to follow and to do. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So, you know, with the retrograde cycle and in full-fledged in the pre-shadow, we're only stepping into this. What we see over the next week is nothing going to be compared to what we see by the end of the month when we hit the full moon on the 28th of January. The full moon is the waning moon. It's the letting go of, getting rid of, shifting things. And that's when things are going to drop bigger than ever. I know that there's a plan going on. And the whole thing, but people, let's talk about the 17th letter of the alphabet, that letter. You know, those people that follow that, you know, that was put in place by the darkness. It's kind of funny that these people follow this and believe it and follow it when it's actually a psyop put into place by those who want to program you into darkness. It's kind of really interesting. You can't believe what you read and see on the internet. Everything they said, everything that even they didn't say that people say they said, like JFK Jr. is still alive and he's going to come out on the 4th of July. They said that 3 times. Never happened. The man is dead. Let the man rest in peace. Like all these things people say. I said back in 2014, 15, where I had the worst vision ever, the underground tunnels and the literally Luciferian sickos where they abuse and traffic children, drugs, and everything else, which is also done through the United States CIA and FBI. There's dark everywhere. I had visions of that before people even talked about it. That's still going to happen. People thought that it was going to be President Trump that was going to be the savior of this. No, this has been going on underground. There is the angel warriors, the white angel warriors that have been fighting this and planning this for a long time, which are actually stationed, funny enough, many places. One of their main stations is in Russia. Why do you think they go after Russia so bad? So you're going to see a lot of new things come up. I part 3 of my predictions coming up at the end of the month. It will be live for my Patreon supporters, and then we will upload it later, you know, a few days after. I will do that at the end of the month. And actually, let me just pull up my calendar. I'll give you an idea when I will do that. But I have a whole nother list of predictions, and I'm going to go in and I'm going to list them out one after another, easy, simple. But I got a lot more stuff to cover. I told you that. That's why it's part 1 and 2. But part 3 is coming by the end of the month. It's just I've been busy back. But I want to touch base on a few things that I talked about in my predictions on New Year's Day. Like planes. There's been, from what y'all have sent me, several planes. One went missing, a Boeing 757, I believe it was, over in Indonesia, I think it was. A couple things like that, things falling out of the sky. But the one thing that I wanted to bring up is Justin Bieber, because I talked about him and how he's going to be 27 this year, and he's in his 9th year. And this eerie feeling I had a year ago of him joining the 27 Club. The 27 Club would include people like Jim Morrison, Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, Heath Ledger. It's a whole list of them. And I didn't know how old he was. I knew nothing about the young man, other than he's an artist and like the biggest one ever since Michael Jackson. So it just came out that he canceled his tour for 2021, that he has Lyme's disease and he's suffering severe mononucleosis. I had mono before. It's not fun. It can destroy you. So hopefully we can send him well wishes and that he won't be a part of that 27 Club. There's also articles that came out about Justin Bieber, about his mental health, and information that came out from his wife. So it's been interesting. But I wanted to touch base with you all today to let you know we're in this cycle now. Last year we go through these cycles 3 times a year. The first time last year, as we came out of it, we went on house arrest. COVID became a national pandemic. The second time we went through that cycle and went into the energy shift, they started burning down our cities, destroying everything. The third time we went into this cycle, there was more chaos over the elections and everything else. So every time there's something happens. Another thing happens is weather and major weather shifts that are going to occur. It's already happening. The Earth's already shaking from what I feel energetically. I don't pay attention to the news. I don't watch the news or anything like that. These people are annoying. But The earth is shaking. There's going to be major weather earth events this year. This year, there will be more volcanic earthquake activity, storms than ever before. Here's another thing I wanted to bring up, another topic. Let me actually bring up the pictures because I want to show you this, because y'all can validate and type in the comments down below and feed in with me on this, because this has been crazy. Since I lived in Sedona, but I live up in the canyon now. And I moved up in the canyon in August. And in August, you weren't seeing this like you're seeing it now, but let me pull it up. So check this out. Chemtrails. X marks the spot. I have never seen so many chemtrails in my entire life as I have seen lately up in the canyon. And what I noticed is the chemtrails started right after the election. Look at this. X's. Always make X's all over the canyon. Every single day. That's not chemtrails, it's something else. Check this out too. Check out this. When my family was here, my dear T took this picture. Look at that. See that? It's wild. Do that again. What would you think that was? See that vortex of energy? Watch how it moves. See how it bubbled up right there? I'll do it again. It's wild. That is actually in Jerome, Arizona, which is a very haunted mining town, ghost town. But look at that vortex. Wow, wild, right? You can watch it forever. It's just so crazy. Vortexes of energy. Look at how it bubbles out. So weird. Anyway, yeah. Watch. So weird. Don't you agree? But chemtrails, have you all been noticing that lately? How bad they are? I've never seen so many chemtrails in my life. Have you also noticed that it's been degrading your energy? That you've been feeling tired, groggy? People have been arguing more, fighting more. There's been more negativity. I swear they do this on purpose. So you should be concerned. You should be concerned about the tear apart of our freedom of speech on social media platforms. Zuckerberg, all those people, Twitter guy, all of them just stripping us away. Folks, that's communism. Taking away the president's ability to speak, to tweet, to be on social media. They took him off of YT, where we're on right now live. But again, the Iranian Ayatollah can go on and talk about death to Americans, and they don't get rid of him. This is concerning, and we need to fight for our freedom. We need to fight for our freedom of speech and our Constitution, because I can tell you that they're going to do a really hard job in taking all that away from us in 2021. So I leave you with that. And I will be back. I wanted to give you a date, didn't I? I didn't give you a date. Hold on. Let's make a date. So we go into the energy shift on the 28th and then the 30th of retrograde. So let's say that I will do part 3 of my predictions, maybe actually next Friday, the 22nd. 22 is a good day, 122. I'll do that on my Patreon page to my Patreon supporters, who I appreciate all of you. I appreciate all of you that do chat cash, who somebody did. Laurie, thank you so much for your chat cash. Namaste to you. Satnam. Namaste. But I wanted to make this short today, just to give you all a little bit of an update. Tell you that, hold on tight. Chaos is about to break out. Focus on the light. Focus on meditation. And perhaps we'll do a group meditation sometime within the next week or so as well. I will try to get that put together for you all. But until the next time, be sure to subscribe down below. Spiritman, bringer of light, love, truth, wisdom, predictions, and prophecy. Have a nice day, y'all. Namaste. I need to end it. Do this every time. There we go. End stream.